It's time to turn your life-challenging moments into life-changing messages. Welcome to the PowerLift Stories podcast, where we are interviewing women whose stories will leave you lifted up, fired up, and fueled up with hope, courage, and inspiration. We want to thank our sponsor, Powerful Journey, who helps women tell their stories, write their books, and building a profitable brand around both. Join the masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com. That is PHYLLISJENKINS.com. Now here's your host, Phyllis Jenkins.
Hello, Sheryl Jones, and welcome to the PowerLift Stories podcast. I am so excited to have you today, and I'll just let everyone know that Sheryl Jones is a wife. Sheryl is a mother, a grandmother, and an entrepreneur, a business owner. And Sheryl, what else would you like our listeners to know about you?
Well, hello, listeners. I am excited to be here today. The most important thing is I have been labeled the Queen of Hearts because I give generously from my heart. So I think that that's something that one of my parents gave to me 14 years ago, and it has just stuck with me because I really see everything I do is from my heart. So I just make sure that people can feel my love when they come in contact with me.
I love that. I love that. And when I met you, that's how I met you, as Sheryl Jones, Queen of Hearts. So
Yeah.
that's great to hear how that came to be. And just from knowing you, Sheryl, you certainly live up to that. So that parent was right on target with giving you that title.
Thank you.
Before you share your story, I would like to ask you, if you were to give your story a title, what title would you give it?
I would say from tragedy to triumph. Yeah, from tragedy to triumph. I really would, definitely.
That's good. And that just falls right in line with our PowerLift story. So with that said, would you please share your story this time?
Yes. I don't know if you're a mom, but if you are a mom, you know how it is when you find out that you're pregnant, you're so excited and you just think, oh, this is going to be great. Okay, I wonder what it's going to be, a boy or a girl, and as you go along, as your stomach starts to get bigger, you just think you get just more and more excited. For me, I had the exact same feelings. I was very excited, just didn't know if it was going to be boy or girl. About midway, I was 6 months and 2 weeks, I think. So I think that, 28, I don't know, however many weeks that is, but I was 6.5 months. I went into preterm labor, y'all. So if you could imagine, first child, and you're like, what's going on? Why is he trying to come now? It was very difficult. I got to the hospital in time, so he was born. He was born at 2 pounds and 10 ounces, little bitty thing. At that time, the technology was not advanced as it is now. So he was born, and they told me that he would probably have some problems because he had a little bit of lack of oxygen when he was born. So we knew that we were going to go into some type of problems. We didn't know how severe it would be, though. So at that time, they would keep kids in the NICU for months. So he stayed in the hospital for 3 months. When it was time for him to come home, at the time he was in children's medical. So they took him from where he was born at Methodist Hospital and took him over to the children's medical for the rest of his months. When he got discharged, I'll never forget, I went into the a big room, and it was doctors and nurses and social workers were in there. And I was thinking, okay, what's going on? So that's when they told me that he had cerebral palsy and that I might want to consider putting him in an institution. Now, you got to remember, this was several years ago, so things were different then. And I know that they were just trying to save me, I guess, a lot of hurt and a lot of just struggle, I guess. Maybe that's what they thought. But I just said, no, I'm bringing this baby home, and I'm going to take care of this baby. And I wanted to just show y'all, this is Adrian.
Aww.
So, yeah, Adrian.
Beautiful baby. Beautiful
Thank
baby.
you. Adrian had cerebral palsy. He had pneumonia 28 times. So his lungs were like an old man. He really had a lot of challenges. And the biggest thing that I learned about taking care of Adrian was love has all kind of dimensions, y'all. It really does. That baby never talked. That baby never walked. But I tell you, this little smile could warm the hearts of so many people. I'll never forget, we were in Kroger at the grocery store one time, and I had him in a stroller, and I was just, going and doing my shopping, no big deal. This lady was following us. And it's like, okay, what is she doing? What's wrong? She was following us because his head would, he could never hide. He didn't have very much muscle control. So his head was always leaned over a little bit, and I'd have to try to push his head up or whatever. So she was just staring at him. So I bent down and said, Adrian, give the lady a big smile. And he started smiling and grinning, and she was just like, oh, just shocked that he would do that. But from that, I tell people all the time, if you see something that's different, don't stare at somebody, just acknowledge them, and I didn't even have a problem with people saying, what's wrong with him? That's acceptable, y'all. That's acceptable, but don't act like a person is not there.
I am so happy to hear you say that, because so many times people really don't know what to say, what to do. And with you giving them permission and coaching them along, then they know now it's okay. It's okay to ask.
Yeah, we know something is wrong with our child. It's not a secret to us. Definitely. So we have no problem with people coming up and saying, hey, what happened, or what's wrong, or whatever. I appreciate that, instead of trying to not look at him or to look away or to whatever, because that children have feelings too.
Yes.
So I just felt like, wow, okay, let's teach her something right now.
Right.
And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. And you know what? Hurt has no color. So she was a Caucasian lady. And I think she said, well, I'm just so sorry. I just have never seen a child like that. And like I said, he was born many years ago. So, back then people would keep their disabled children in the house. I'm just telling you up front. We didn't take them out much. Like now, people take their kids out to everything, and they're exposed to everything, which is a great thing. But back then we didn't, it was kind of almost like a shame almost, So I'm glad things have changed for the better, but that was truly a difficult time for me. But I learned so much about me, and it's so interesting. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Life changed and began. I look back now and I see why God gave me Adrian. My husband suffered a brain injury 3 years ago, and now his walk is in terms of his life is now why I needed to learn all those things about my child. So it's like, oh my goodness, God, you do everything well. You do everything perfect, because all of those ways of how I, advocated for my child, all of those things I needed to do for my husband. So it's like, never question God and what his plan is for your life, because it will be revealed. It will.
Totally agree. And I want to just applaud you for how you're looking at it, because you could have gone all negative with both of those, but you did not. You looked at it as lessons learned from Adrian, and now you're able to carry that lesson on and apply what you've learned with your husband. And so just I want to applaud you, and just thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes. Continue with the story.
Okay. So I have always been in social services. When Adrian was born, I was in social services, and I had even decided, okay, I'm going to learn more about individuals with disabilities. So I went from working with people with doing the food stamps and all of that to really changing my whole field after he was born to work with individuals with disabilities. As Adrian went on, he passed away, and he was 4 days away from being 3 years old. So he was 2 when he passed away. And that really made my fire even stronger, I would say.
Wow.
I jumped into working with individuals with disabilities even more, because I knew that I had something I needed to do with those parents. I've always known that there's a message that the parents need to know. there's a message that the parents need to know. Yes, this was traumatic. Yes, it was a tragedy for him to go away. But there's also so many lessons and so many blessings that you can give to other people. I have been such an advocate and such a person that wants to share. I mean, I was one of the people at Children's Medical Center when a new mom would get a diagnosis, they would call me to come talk to her.
Oh,
Because
that's
I just
great.
felt like somebody needs to be there to tell her it can be okay. It may not be your normal every day. You may have to feed him for the rest of his life, but you can so do this. It can so be done. And I think that's where many times people look at, oh man, this tragedy has happened to me. How will my life ever go on? Your life can be even more of a light when you take that tragedy and say, I'm going to bless somebody with what I've been through. I'm going to bless somebody to let them know, even if their child has died. I try to bless as many women as I can with this book, because here's the deal. There were lessons I learned because of his death, y'all, because of the depression that I went through and all of the months and over a year that I just feel like I couldn't pick my head up. And it was just like God was saying, I'm giving you something so powerful and so just that's going to help the world. You've got to know when you're being blessed and when you're getting something that's going to not only help you and your family, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute, how I took that pain, I worked in my field and eventually started a company, but I also took that pain and I've helped so many women deal with their child just being sick, knowing that, hey, one day he may have to live in a group home. I've ran group homes. I've done so many things, whether it's an adult child with special needs or a young child. I've dealt with the school district and just a number of things. There need to be advocates in your life for every part of your life. And every walk, it can be difficult if you don't have the right person helping you, if you don't have the right support, whether it's just a kind word from someone you know. I know for me, my mom was just a wonderful sounding board and just a wonderful positive, okay, we're going to make it through this. It's okay. I mean, as Adrian had pneumonia 28 times, he almost died so many times. And it's so interesting, when he died, he did not die from pneumonia. Adrian died. He had his tonsils taken out. The nurse came in and gave him some medication by mouth. Adrian died 5 minutes later. So all of those pneumonias, thinking he's not going to make it through the night, and he never died from that. And then from him to die from having his tonsils taken out, it was like, what, God, what is this? What's wrong? You know? So it was just such a lesson for me that it's not in our time, it's in God's time.
I love that.
Yeah.
Not in our time, but at
No.
God's time.
Yes,
Wow, that is
definitely.
great. I
Mm,
love how you became an advocate of what had happened to you so that you
yeah.
could go out and help other mothers and
Yeah.
other parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just so important that they know also about what's available for them, because there's still today, I'm sure, many families that have adult children with special needs still in their home after they graduated high school, thinking there's nothing for them to do. Because as you get older, you probably don't do much research. You know, life is good. Hey, he's here. He's getting Social Security, you know, but he could have a whole life, going to a day hab, you know, being involved in, you know, Special Olympics and things for adults. And there's so many churches out there that have special needs ministries, and, you know, just being open to what life could be and a good quality of life for that person. That's what I'm all about. And even if that person has a life that, you know, like my husband right now, he's 100% total care. So yeah, does he need a life of encouragement? Does he need a life of things and, you know, people in his life? I had to reach out. We just did a video the other day, and I reached out to one of the guys and I said, he need men to call him and just to say, hey, how are you doing? Just take 5 minutes to bless somebody else. And I
Yes.
think I learned anything else from this whole situation with Adrian and with Rodney, my husband. We need to be more about the other people. We need to be more about God has left us here to be a light. And if you're a light, you need to shine bright. You need to be on your business about encouraging others, being there for others. You know, I had the opportunity to minister to a woman who was just going through a divorce. And that was just wonderful, because I haven't experienced that, but I've experienced hurt. And that's what I explained to her. Hurt has no definition. You can hurt from a death, you can hurt from a divorce, you can hurt from an injury, from an illness. Hurt is hurt, y'all. So anybody has been through something, you can help somebody else, even if it's just with a kind word or a prayer or anything. And I think I've learned from my experience just to be there for people. Yeah, it's great to be a social worker. Yeah, I was trained for this, but I think I would have always been like this because that's just who I am. And I think everybody can be like that. If we have that love of Christ for everybody that we meet, we're going to be like, oh, girl, I didn't see you at church. Or, oh, girl, I haven't talked to you in a month or two. What's going on? People
That's
need that.
great. Yes, and
Yes.
especially now, Cheryl, with the pandemic
Yeah.
going on, we're
Yeah.
not seeing and
Hug.
hugging and touching like we
Yes.
normally do, but
Yes.
picking up that phone, as you said, and just giving a care call.
Yes.
So
Yes.
many people would welcome
Mhm.
that and love that.
Yeah.
And for those who are listening, who might be the ones that have a different ability or the ones who are not able to get out, or we will encourage you to be the one to also reach out to somebody
Mm-hmm.
else
Mm-hmm.
and to be a blessing. Just a phone call
Yes.
can make such a big difference.
Makes such a difference. I'm telling you, that's what, when I put that out on my Facebook for this minister to call my husband, he called on yesterday after he got finished preaching, and Rodney's face just lit up. He said, he's calling me. I said, yeah, he's calling you. So he was just so happy. And you just don't know what that 5 minutes can do for somebody else's life.
Right.
So
That's
important
right.
to be that light, y'all. Just be
Yes.
that,
Yes.
definitely.
Well, Cheryl,
Mhm.
I certainly know that you are indeed that light and all that you're doing in the community and for others. And so I want you to talk about Rodcore,
Okay.
Rodcore a little now. And
Okay.
yes,
Great. I started Rodcore in 2005. So this year it'll be 15 years old.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited. The reason that I started Rodcore is I was working in a program at one of the county agencies, and I saw a program that could really do well financially, but I just didn't feel like they were giving the people what they needed in terms of, I don't know, I just didn't see any love in it. And I know that sounds weird, but you can love on people, you can love them to success. So I just believe, even whether it's your staff or whether it's the actual people receiving the service, it's the method in which you give it. And I thought, I need to start something because they're just not doing this right. They're making a lot of money, but they're just not doing this right. There was no concern of, the staff having a decent wage. It was a low wage. And I understand it's supposed to be a low wage paying position if the company is to make a certain amount of money. I understand profit and loss. I do. But if you as a business owner decide, I'm going to pay a lot more than what's normal to get a lot better staff and to offer the family something so unique. And I tell you, that has helped me tremendously. I was able to come in, start a company, provide that exact same service that I was when I was in the big county agency, but provide it with love and provide it saying, hey, I see you. I appreciate you. I say the tagline for my company is a celebration of the invisible, because I truly believe individuals with disability are invisible to a lot of people. They won't even look at them sometimes. So I just know, if I'm telling you, hey, I'm showing them love. So guess what? Every Christmas, I'm sending them a Christmas card. Every birthday, I'm sending them a card and a gift card. Just sharing and knowing that somebody loves you. Just doing what I can to show my love, paying the higher wage for the staff, and just doing things differently. Yeah, on paper, when you compare me to a county agency, they would think that I'm crazy. Absolutely. Because, one of the things that I used to always do was a huge Christmas party. And I would spend thousands of dollars on that party just because I want them to know they're celebrated. I want them to know that their life means something. Not everybody is going to see things that way, y'all. But if you make a decision in your mind, that this is who I am. It has nothing to do with money. Yeah, money is great. Money is wonderful. You need it to live. But if you make a decision, okay, I don't have to make, a gazillion dollars. I can definitely offer this and be a blessing to so many other people. And as a result, you know what it did to me? Every time I would have those Christmas parties, spending all of that money, it would always result in clients coming to me because they knew that this is somebody who really loves us. This is somebody who really, appreciates us. So I would say one of the biggest things that you have to decide is, who are you? I want you to let that sink in. When you figure out who you are, don't let anybody change that. If you are that person, that's who you are. I won't let anybody come in and change that for me. I won't let anybody, no accountant, no anything. They would say, oh, you could save and make so much more money if you just wouldn't do this, or if you just wouldn't do that. I'm out of the box thinking. I'm out of the box marketing. I'm not your average person because God didn't put me here to be average. Some people are meant to shine their light bright. And I know I'm meant to shine my light huge. I don't know where it says in the Bible, but it says, too much is given, much is required. So I believe that. I live with that. And I just know the more you give, the more God is going to give to you. And here's the deal, y'all. It may not always be in money. Guess what? He may be giving you good health. He may be keeping cancer away from you. How many women have you known, have you seen that has gotten cancer? And you think about, okay, my grandmother had cancer. Oh my goodness, But I just recently had a bad mammogram. I can't remember the word they called it. And I went back and I was just in prayer. I said, okay, God, I got to take care of Rodney, God. Please don't let this be anything. So I went back on Wednesday and they said, no, there's no cancer here. And I was just praying God, because you know what? It could have been. My grandmother died from cancer. But I just believe God is going to take care of you. I just believe that with all of my heart. And if you're in true communion with him, it's not about your outside relationships. It's about who you are with him. And when who you're supposed to be with him, he takes care of his children. I tell people God has my picture on his refrigerator.
I love that.
I'm one of the favorites. So you have to know who you are, and you have to take that in your business. You have to take that in your message. It's so funny because people say, how do you talk to corporations if you say anything about God? Now, I'll be honest with you. My titles don't have anything about God in it. But guess what? I was in Microsoft in February. If God slips out of your mouth, guess what? They're not going to put you off stage. You're going to keep on rolling. You're going to keep on giving them the message that you're supposed to give them. I had so many people come up to me and say, I'm so thankful you said what you said. We rarely hear that here. I was in Plano at Microsoft, and they said, we rarely hear that here. And I said, I just have to do what I'm supposed to do. And guess what? I don't care if Microsoft don't ever call me back. I'm good. At least I was there one time, So that was my thing. We have to decide as we're telling our stories, how much do you want to tell? What do you want to tell? How much do you want to be a transformation for people? Because I will tell you this, the more truth you tell, the more people can be transformed.
Exactly, because there's so many people in that audience who can relate to what you're saying. There's so many people in that audience that might think nobody else is walking in these shoes but me.
Yeah.
But when they hear you share your story,
yes,
they perk up and they're all ears, because then they know, okay, I'm not alone. And
absolutely.
what God has done for Sheryl, he can do for me.
Absolutely.
So we thank you so much for sharing that. Before I forget, for the listeners who are listening via iTunes, could not see your book. So would you share? You held the book up.
Oh, okay.
Share the title of the book.
Okay. It's called Because of Him, 10 Lessons Learned from My Special Needs Son, Adrian. Sheryl Jones, Queen of Hearts.
Right. And Sheryl, where can they get the book?
Okay. They can get it at Amazon. Yeah, they can get it. Or they can contact me direct. I'd love to send them a little surprise with it as well. So I love, if they contact me direct, that'd be the best way.
That is great. And I will have you to share that contact information and a few
Okay.
minutes. So if you're listening right now, we're giving you time to go get you something to write with or to key it into your phone, because Sheryl is indeed going to give you her contact information and her business info as well. So Sheryl,
Mhm.
you shared your story, which is an amazing story,
Thank you.
and you've spoken now, and I want you to imagine you've spoken on stage in front of millions,
Wow.
and you've ended sharing your story. The applause has gone all across the auditorium, but now it has ended. The curtains have closed, and everyone has exited the building. What do you hope? What message do you hope that each person who heard Sheryl takes away with them?
The message that I want to share is it's not what happens to you, but how you respond. Will you get better or will you get bitter? That's the message that I want people to leave thinking about. I want them to dream about it, and I want them to change their life as a result.
That is absolutely wonderful. And you are a great example of one who took what happened to you, which was a life challenge, and now you turned it into not only a life changing message, but a business as well that is touching even more and more lives. So, what would you say to that woman who knows that there is a business inside of her, but has been a little fearful to get
Yeah.
out there and to launch her business? What would you say to her?
Okay, perfect question. I thought about that. I love an acronym. So, of course, I had to do an acronym. So, I did
Great.
the acronym of START UP. I want you to get a start up. And the S stands for start. I will tell you, I stayed stuck and just not starting my business for 2 years. So, I sat in that office and I thought, I really should start a business. I really should start a business. Didn't do it for 2 years. So I want you to start. I just want you to get out and get started. The T stands for task analysis. I want you to break down everything that you could possibly imagine to happen in your business, from your customer acquisition to how you pay your bills, if you're going to have staff, if you're going to have an office, just everything. It's called a task analysis. Break down every task in your business. For A, I want you to have a great attitude. I want your attitude to be, what if everything goes right? And just let that sink in for a minute. Most people think, oh, this is going to go wrong. This is going to go wrong. I want you to switch that. What if absolutely everything goes right? What's going to happen as a result of that? What will your life look like? What will your family's life look like? I will tell you, I've experienced that. I've definitely experienced that. But my attitude was on point, y'all. Every day I was looking at my goal book. Every day I was saying my affirmations. Every day I was believing at a level that I had never believed before. So your attitude has to be right. Okay, the R stands for reach out to get help. And I'm telling you, there are books, there are podcasts, there are, interviews, just any way you can get the help you can. There are masterminds, there are coaching sessions. There is help everywhere. But here's the deal. You have to have an open mind to get the help. And I'm going to quickly tell this story. I had a situation on Saturday. I purchased something from someone, and it was a very, very, very bad transaction. I could not find the product that I was looking for on a website. So I just said, hey, Sheryl, you're a business coach. Tell her that. I told her that. She took very deep offense to it and refunded my money back. Well, I just know that if you're not open for criticism and if you're not open for help, you really don't need to be in business, y'all. You've got to have tough skin to be in business. Things are going to come at you like you would not believe. So you have got to be able to reach out and get the help that you need. And don't expect somebody to just automatically give you that help. Raise your hand and say, I need help. I will tell you, I am a seeker of knowledge. I'm always reading. I'm always looking at podcasts, listening to podcasts, looking at videos. I'm always doing that because I seek knowledge. So you have to be a seeker. You have to knock and the door will be open to you. Door's not going to be, I said this on one of my business tips. God is not going to send the UPS man with all your blessings in a box. And all you have to do is open the door. That's just not going to happen. You have to seek it. You have to really go after it, definitely. Okay, the T is for tell your story, y'all. I tell you, when I go in and I meet new families and I tell them my story of Adrian, I have families that have been with me the whole 14 years, y'all. They don't ever leave you. When they can connect from your heart to their heart. You see, because that's what it is. It's not a financial transaction. It's a heart transaction, y'all. It is a heart transaction. And I'm telling you, even if you selling brown teddy bear for 5 times the normal rate, if somebody hears your story and know that you made this teddy bear because your grandmother was dying and she needed a teddy bear, they gonna buy your teddy bear. Trust me. But it all happens when you tell your story. You've got to tell that story. That U for startup stands for understand every level that you're on. You're going to find yourself on so many different levels. You may go up, you may go down, you may even go forward 10 steps and backwards 5 steps, you know? So you need to understand every level that you're on. And the P is for persevere. I will tell you, I meet so many people that give up too soon. There's this book called 3 Feet from Goal. And when you know you're mining for gold, and you don't see gold, you may not see gold for a year. You may not see gold for 10 years, but that year number 11, there's the gold right there. And you won't get to it because you gave up. Now, I'm not saying continue on a business that's not producing. You do have to see some type of results. But there again, that's where you get with help, y'all. Some things just need a little bitty tweak. That's all it needs. That's all it needs. So definitely, that is startup. Startup stands for start, task analysis, attitude, reach out for help, tell your story, understand every level, and persevere. That's your startup.
Absolutely wonderful, Cheryl. You and I could be sisters because I love an acronym as well. Have
Yes.
loved them for years and years.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I just want to say to our listeners that that's what PowerLift Stories is all
Yeah.
about. It's having you to not sit on your story,
Yes.
because what has happened to you is not just for you.
Yes.
It is for you to tell it so that others can be blessed by it, that others can take the lessons that you have learned and they can go forward and receive the strength, the encouragement, the inspiration from your story that they need.
Yes.
And it can become the survival, the tool in their survival kit to
Right.
help move them from one level to the next. So
Yes.
again, don't sit on your story. And Cheryl, I have totally enjoyed interviewing with you today, hearing your
Thank
story.
you.
And if our listeners want to get in contact with you, please share how they can get in contact with you. And I know that you have a mastermind that's starting
Yes.
up next month in October. Please
Yes.
share more about that as well.
Yes, I will share the link so you can put it in the show notes, and definitely share that with whoever might be interested. It is a mastermind. I truly believe that, I don't know who even said this, but it's a point in your life where you have 2 people together. One person has a brain, second person has a brain. But they say when the 2 people come together, you form that third brain. That's what mastermind is. It's people coming together and sharing with each other, having a guide. I'm the guide. But hey, we all are contribute. We're going to all give to each other. So it's going to be powerful beyond belief. I believe in a physical meeting, y'all. So I'm just old school. I believe that you should meet. So I'm definitely doing a kickoff in Dallas, Texas, October 16th and 17th at the Embassy Suite, 635 and 75. And then the additional 7 weeks will be on an audio call that we will have once a week. So excited about Mastermind. So we'll definitely share the link. There's 2 ways to get in touch with me. The best way is to become my Facebook friend. I'm Sheryl, Sheryl Jones. I'm from Dallas, Texas. You'll see a Dallas skyline in the background. That's me. Become my friend and contact me by messenger. That's my best way to get in contact. And the reason I say that is I'm usually in somebody's house. I'm here today because it's Labor Day, but usually I'm in somebody's house, working or whatnot. The other way is to text me. I don't mind anybody having my cell phone because I rarely answer it anyway. So my cell phone number is 972-750-2631. Thank you so much, Phyllis, for this opportunity. It's been amazing.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. And I know that our listeners have truly been blessed and are walking away with some great golden nuggets. So thank you. This has been the PowerLift Stories.
Yes.
And you will be able to find out more about us in the show notes as well. Have a
Awesome.
great day.
Thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in being on the show, go to phyllisjenkins.com. You can also sign up for the Powerful Journey Masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com.